EA and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the U.S. Open Championship. Hello again and welcome to the U.S. Open. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. We're here at Chambers Bay with those massive rolling fairways, the towering dunes, unpredictable coastal winds. What a test, Frank, for the best players in the world.
That's right, and it's going to be the first time these professionals are going to play it. We've seen it host a U.S. amateur in the past, and this is a daunting test, especially if the wind gets up. There's enough bunkers out there to trap the best players in the world. Those greens fast and firm enough to repel any shot that's not struck perfectly.
All right, Frank, how would you break down this approach shot here at the first at Chambers Bay?
Well, Rich, it's partially blind, so you've really got to fixate on the exact point that you want to aim at. That's one of the beauties of this golf course. So maybe even just have a little look and make sure you know that line, because once that ball hits the ground, the natural contours are going to take it in a certain direction. So really fixate on that line.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Oh, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot. And a great start.
Second hole now here at Chambers Bay in the U.S. Open, Frank. It's a relatively short par 4.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's easy, though. This is more of a strategic hole. You want to lay the ball up around sort of 270, 280 yards. Avoid that big bunker on the left. It is going to leave a short iron in, but the hole bends to the left, as well as the slope of the land is right to left. Got to take that into account.
This could be really good, Frank.
Oh, straight at it.
That is an absolute seed. I mean, he just ripped a bullet down the fairway. Oh my goodness, 375 yards. That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Frank, this would be a nice way to jumpstart the round.
Yeah, his momentum can quickly go in the right direction if he makes this.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it's going to hurt the course.
He'll take par and move on. Now on to the first par 3 of the U.S. Open here at Chambers Bay.
It's all in front of you. Beautiful view there in the distance. You can see the water. Once again, it does slope a little right to left. Don't have to go straight at the flag here. This one's a little bit of a sleeper.
Goodness, Frank, I think that baby went in. Frank, so often a U.S. Open is defined by difficult par 4s. How does the fourth here at Chambers Bay stack up?
Well, Richard, adds to your list here. 495 yards, that says one thing, but the fact that it's anything other than straight, bunkers left and down the right side, plus the hole bends to the right, so this is a very strategic hole. If anything, something slightly left of center, but you're still going to have a lengthy second shot.
Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. Frank, what's so compelling about rivalries in sports is that athletes need each other if they're going to go to great heights. Joe Frazier needed Muhammad Ali to solidify his legend. Jack Nicklaus probably needed Arnold Palmer to go to a place that he had not been. And I think that's true across the board as we look at rivalries in sports.
I think it defines careers, which it's not until those players retire that they realise how important it was to have that foe. So often we're living in the present like we are now with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. And it's not for years to come that we'll realise the sport wouldn't have been the same with one without the other.
Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Oh, man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. And this will be a 5-foot putt here.
In this situation, Rich, a bogey's not all that bad. Still has the lead.
Fifth hole here at the U.S. Open. Frank, why do they call it free fall?
I guess because you can make a mess here. You just keep going down. Bunkers left and right. There's acres of sand on the left and right. And just one little measly bunker. But it's smack bang in the front of the screen.
A huge elevation change from tee to fairway. Gave that the full treatment. Get up.
That club must have melted after that one.
Frank, what do we have with the approach shot here at the fifth?
Just got to be cognizant of that bunker. That's you can see it there. That's just central front of this green. You either got to go around it, or if you're good enough, then you go straight over it. But you've got to have a ton of spin on the second shot.
On the green and looking at a birdie opportunity. Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously, it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie.
How does that not go in?
Amazing. Stroke looked good. Line looked good. Just did not take that final break.
Getting set now over the putt. They'll take it. That's a par. Ready to tee off here at the sixth. Frank, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee here?
Well, as long as it's not in the rough, the bunkers, well, there's no trees here, really. He's loading up on it.
Look at the coil there. Looks to be putting everything into this one. Just destroyed it. Good tee shot right in the short grass. Now the approach shot here at the sixth at Chambers Bay, and what's the key, Frank?
Well, I think it's a fun second shot, Rich. Too often people just look at the yardage and they blaze away, but really, if you wanted to play this hole as the Scots want to play the game, then when the pin's at the back, you'd hit a low running shot that bisects those two bunkers.
This is a good-looking shot. Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Just 5 feet left.
Comfortably knocks it in.
Well, Frank, this is what a U.S. Open is all about. A long, tough par 4 up the hill.
Yeah, just a beast. And it's a dogleg right on top of that. There's more humps and bumps and all this than a dermatologist would ever dream of down there. Ball just took off the face. Rich, there's great drivers of the ball. We've seen Norman, Nicholas over the years, but that there is just excellent. Lovely full turn, plenty of power, and just piped it.
Made it look easy right there, and he's such a good-looking player. When he's dialed in, swinging the way he is right now, just a pleasure to watch. It has been a ball-striking clinic today, hitting one green after the next. Good roll. Frank, we know we're at a U.S. Open. 500-yard par 4s, and here a better than 600-yard par 5 at the 8th.
Yeah, you need a missile really off the tee to be able to reach this par 5 and 2, and not a single bunker really on this hole. So this is just long every stretch of the way. The fairway actually looks a little bit narrower than what it is. There's a little bit more fairway than actually what meets the eye at first.
Frank just continuing to make the game look easy.
This just shortens the whole golf course up when you can hit it that far.
This one looks like it might have a postage stamp on it. Airmail City.
Yeah, lick it. Send it.
So going well up the hill to that green, we'll need to take an extra club here. Try up next. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, the 9th hole is called Olympus. Feels as though Russell Crowe should be standing on the tee, starring in some sort of a movie about the Greek gods.
I knew you'd go like Titans and that down here. But this golf course is for the mere mortals, Rich. This isn't for the Greek gods and the Titans of the world. They might think they are, but this is for you and me. This is for everybody. 36 handicappers. We can all play here.
Frank, I have to say I've been impressed by the level of golf today. Really came out here with a solid game plan and executed.
I agree. We've seen some great shots out there, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the round plays out.
Might go deep here in the red number.
It's in!
He made an ace, Frank. Can you believe it? Wow. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
Well, this one has a chance to be really good. Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up? It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Frank, he has to be scratching his head as he reaches for a sand wedge or a gap wedge for his next shot.
Well, you know the FedEx Cup, Rich. I mean, you're meant to get there by 10:30 tomorrow. That thing's still going.
No way! He hold it, Frank.
Great pitch shot.
Now on to the 11th, and Frank, we are looking at a long par 4 in front of us.
We are indeed, and it's called shadows. But there is love in the shadows here. Hit it over that dune down there in the middle of the fairway. If you can get it there around the 300-plus yard mark, then the hole obviously starts to get a little easier. That second shot, you'd like to hit a little bit of a cut in it. But there's 2 levels to this green, so make sure you're on the right level where that flag is.
That was just a beautiful drive and hit it solid and right in the middle. The 11th hole, Frank, what's the right way to get at it?
Just got to be cognizant of that ridge that cuts through the middle of this green that sort of turns this green into one simple green into all these little complex sort of sections. That's the biggest thing, but that's also, you realize very, very quickly, you're playing links golf today.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Early part of this back 9 and a good approach shot. And now we'll have this for birdie. Par yesterday. Now for birdie. This one looks good. Might like it. Oh, they're going to love it. What a putt.
Rich, I remember playing with, it was Ben Crenshaw and Mark McCumber in a World Cup of Golf at Royal Melbourne. And Royal Melbourne's greens are as fast as any in the world. And it was probably one of the best putting exhibitions I ever saw without Ben actually making every putt. His sense of speed. And I think that's where I started to see that putting was a real art. He would look at a putt like it had 7 or 8 different dimensions to it. But it was all feel. It wasn't mechanical. It wasn't like this sort of amazing thought process. It was sort of through osmosis. He would just feel it. So it would go up and down, several humps and hollows and that, and invariably just, if it missed, it just settled on the back of the cup. And these were the fastest greens in the world. Incredible display.
His longtime caddy at Augusta National, Carl Jackson, and they came together in the mid-1970s. Carl recalls the first time he saw Ben, and what stood out was, as Carl tells it, the putting stroke, and in Carl's words, it flowed like the wind. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it's going to hurt the course.
Those keep the round going, those par putts. Coming down the stretch here at the U.S. Open at Chambers Bay, just 6 holes to play, and Frank, this par 4 13th will really test the players.
It is. If someone makes 3 here down the stretch, it will be monumental. A 4 here, no one would leave this hole unhappy.
He'll be happy with that in the fairway, and now a good chance to attack this hole. Frank, what's the best way to get at the 13th here?
Avoid those ridges left and right, or the mounds, should I say. That bunker that's well placed in the front of the green, obviously you've got to carry that, but this one you've really got to keep it in line with the middle of the green.
Frank, the handicap system in golf really is the great equalizer, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no sport like it. I can't imagine going to Wimbledon and playing, sort of Djokovic or Federer, or, playing NFL with Peyton Manning. But the beauty of golf, we can go out in a golf course. We decide what our handicaps are on the first tee. We decide who's going to get strokes, and then off you go and play. And you play on a level playing field.
Birdie try up next. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Just slides by.
Yeah, can't afford to miss too many of those out here today.
Kind of a tricky read. Settles in over the putt. No problems there.
Yeah, keeps the round going, keeps the momentum on his side.
Frank, a fifth consecutive par 4 here at the U.S. Open. This is the 14th hole, and I'm guessing by the time you set foot on this tee, you'll know exactly where your game is at.
Oh, this one here, great reward for someone that's driving the ball well. If you can drive it, down the left middle, avoid that little one-pot bunker in the middle of the fairway, you're going to certainly shorten this hole up. And then you can start to use the contours of this hole too, that bend right to left. And 546 yards becomes much shorter than what you would think. Has it come down yet? Not only is it straight, it's mega long.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie.
It's no snack, though. Rich, that just adds insult to injury to the rest of the field. Another birdie, and the gap even wider.
A sensational performance. On the 15th green in regulation, but not yet in the hole. This is about a 30-footer, and he'll look at it from a couple of different angles just to try to get a feel for it. So close. Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, number one, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. They'll take it. That's a par. Getting set to take on the finishing holes here at Chambers Bay. How do you do it in the right way, Frank?
Well, when you look down this fairway, obviously everything slopes left to right. That makes this hole actually play a little bit more of a dogleg to the right, even though it doesn't look it. And then, of course, that green up ahead, it's like a tabletop. So precision here is absolutely paramount. That's an absolute beauty.
Frank, what's the danger here on the approach to the 16th, considering the green is really pretty small?
Well, obviously it's a short par 4, so you know that the problem's going to happen up ahead, and that's exactly what it does. This is probably one of the smallest, narrowest greens at Chambers Bay, and you can see it slopes dramatically from left to right. That has to be taken into consideration with the second shot.
Oh my goodness, he just made it. I cannot believe it.
I was thinking he might get it close, and just a great shot.
Pressure's beginning to rise here. 17th hole of the U.S. Open at Chambers Bay. And this one, Frank, the par 3, will require a really good shot.
It's amazing how many U.S. Opens have great 17th hole. I think of Winged Foot, par 3, 17th, even Marion, par 3. This one will certainly fit in the same vein. It's named Derailed, and it will derail many a player trying to win a U.S. Open.
Should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. Not terrible, but not his best.
An outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage, and you're not going to birdie every hole.
Simple, solid, and he'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
Now to the 18th hole. Frank, everyone wants to finish in style.
Yeah, the home hole here, once again, you head back to just a wonderful view. When he goes after it, he is here.
And that ball is absolutely scorched. Just hit a seed out there. That's in the fairway. Frank, you want to finish with one good swing here, the approach shot to the 18th hole.
I don't think there's a flat putt on this green, Rich. There's so many different sections. We said the course was like a maze. This 18th green can be like a maze. If you're on the right portion, then obviously that certainly helps. But there's so many different levels to this green.
And a chance for eagle after that perfectly played shot. And getting ready for the putt. Well, that's how you keep a round going, make putts just like that. There you have it. Round 3 is finished, and it was a good one, Frank.
Yeah, after 3 rounds in, you really could start to see who could take home the trophy when it's all said and done. Great play, though, up until this point. Round 4 should be an absolute thriller.